One is Douglas, our new member and new mentor, who's come all the way from Texas. And another one is Judy, a seasoned Toastmaster from Malaysia, who is also our mentor, and she is going to sign up for a member here. As earlier in the meeting, Douglas and Judy have drawn a lot, and Douglas will be the first speaker. So Douglas, and now let's welcome Douglas with his speech title, The Mother-in-Law.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, every Vietnamese woman, girl, before they get married, has a fear. It's the mother-in-law. They have articles in magazines, books written about this. I've even seen a movie about the terrible mother-in-law. But I will tell you today, standing here now, that even I was afraid of my mother-in-law. Now, my mother-in-law is Vietnamese. She's about this tall. She weighs about 35 kilograms. But I swear to you, I was afraid of her. The first time my wife took me to her house in the countryside, I saw that it was a small house. Simple. Old boards put together with rusty nails. But I realized something very early, that this house was bonded together with something stronger than any nails or glue. It was bonded with love. And the center point of this love is the foundation of the house. It was my mother-in-law. Now, my mother-in-law is the hardest working person you'll ever see. She wakes up at 3 o'clock every morning before the chickens. She goes to bed 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And she's busy the entire day, cooking and cleaning and taking care of the family. But when I first met her, she really scared me. She studied me like a book. I always wondered what was going in her mind. This American guy coming in to marry her daughter. What is he doing here? And she let me know real quick that she was the top person in that house. Now, I thought one time that I would do one thing to impress the entire family. What is the one thing that every mother-in-law wants their son-in-law to do? Cook. Now, the funny part about this is, I don't know how to cook. So, me and my wife, we go out to her village and we stop in the Big C supermarket. I got the easiest thing in the world to cook. Spaghetti. So I go home and I'm cooking, all under the watchful eye of my mother-in-law, trying to figure out what I was doing. Prepared this big meal. I swear to you, it's the best I ever did in my life. We sat around the table with her family, my mother-in-law looking at the spaghetti more than eating it. And everyone else, there was much more. I cooked much more than they were willing to eat. But my mother-in-law never lets anything go to waste. She fed the rest of the dog. Now, the next part I wish I could tell you was a white lie. The very next day the dog died. Now, it is still an argument to this day whether my food killed the dog or it was hit by a car. But I can tell you, for 2 or 3 days, everyone in the family was a little nervous. Now, the day of my wedding was even something a little bit more traumatic for me. I brought my mother from the U.S. to come here before I can get married. Now, this was about 13 or 14 years ago, before cell phones were available in Vietnam. I left the hotel with my mother-in-law with the hotel driver. My wedding was supposed to be at 3 p.m. At 3:30, we were lost. At 3:45, he had no idea where we were going. We showed up at the church after 4 p.m. They're standing on the corner, and I remember it so clearly, my wife in a beautiful dress. And she had the look of, my God, he's leaving me. But what I really remember is my mother-in-law. Beautiful Aliyah. Her arms crossed. She had a different look with her. She had to look like she was going to hunt me down and kill me. The fear was in me. I remember my mother saying, Doug, you may not want to get out. She looks pretty mad. But I got out, and I explained to my wife, we were lost. Talked to the driver. I left on time. I promise. We were married, and at the moment that we made our final vows, I remember looking back at my mother-in-law and her watchful eye. Everything changed about her. Because I wasn't just some foreigner coming here to marry her daughter, some guy coming to cook spaghetti and kill the dog. I became part of the family. I became a son-in-law. Actually, I became a son. And at that very moment, and you can imagine the time changed like that with her. She treated me as if I was her son. And I treat her as she's my